Welcome everyone. We are back with another special report on the GoofOps by Belgavi Smart City Limited. And this time you must be aware, in the past we've come up with special reports on the Integrated Command and Control Center project phase 1, which is basically one of the main projects in IT part of the smart city projects. And you all are aware how that project has got delayed and it is still not up to the mark and citizens are suffering. And this project was supposed to take off and be completed 2 years back, but till date this project is not completed. Most of the projects, as you all know, these days are only meant for the inaugural event, where the concerned minister or the chief minister, they come and inaugurate the event, and after that event these projects never see the day of the light. And most of such projects have become a failure, and they don't reach the objective of serving the people. But a command and control center project is very critical for the city's safety, and it will basically help the decision makers and the government officials to take proper decision after the command center starts basically receiving data from various systems, and after analyzing that data, it basically helps the administrators. Now let's today with me I have Basavareddy Mudainur, who is basically an entrepreneur. He's basically a IT entrepreneur. He runs a company called BITS, which is basically into security and surveillance systems. Plus, he also does other IT systems concerned to surveillance and security. He's also done some work for Belgavi Police. Welcome, Basavareddy. I would like you to tell us the command and control center's second phase, which is the second phase tender is out. What is it all about? I want you to tell our viewers the people of Belgavi that what is the second phase tender all about? How it will basically help the first phase?
So basically, thank you for giving this opportunity. And to start the discussion, this second phase is all about continuation of the first phase, where the surveillance part mostly with respect to security, and second is the parking enforcement is being planned by the smart city, and ultimately it will be given, the control of the same will be given to the police commissionerate, wherein this recording and also the parking enforcement will be done. So it is being done, this project is done by the smart city, but ultimately it will be handed over to the police commissionerate.
Okay. No, but is this basically the second phase is purely focused on the surveillance part, security part?
Security part, and as well as this added features of parking enforcement on the side of the roads, where mostly you might have seen that in most of the roads the parking is not properly done. So through surveillance it will be enforced now.
Okay. Now, since you've examined the RFP of this project, what do you think? Is this DPR or the RFP that is done for this particular second phase of command center project, how effective it is, and whether is it done in a hurry? Because as far as I know, when I did the analysis for the first phase, I remember it was done by KOIDFC, and KOIDFC made a very generic RFPs for all the 6 smart cities in Karnataka. As far as I know, every city has different security requirements. Like Mangalore is a port city, Belgavi is a city which is communally sensitive or also faces linguistic issues. So definitely when we talk about security, we cannot neglect, and when government is spending so much of money, why should we even neglect a small block in a chain? So what do you think, how well they have planned this? I want you to tell, as a citizen of Belgavi who has knowledge about IT, not as an entrepreneur, but in the interest of Belgavi, how effective is this RFP?
So if I look into it, So we generally know that the Belgavi city as such is growing at a very rapid rate now. And see, when we take anybody comes up to me with this kind of problem solution, so my usual approach is where I take care of scalability and usability on a long term. When you are pouring money in such a scale, the return of investment is something which we should be very much aware of. We are not doing this security for one house or one household or something like
Or one neighborhood.
for the whole city.
Yeah.
And specifically when you do this, and with respect to this second phase, this is only for some areas like Shapu in that part of the city. So it becomes very important that we should know how to embed this part with the first and the forthcoming phases. But what I have seen is very much less important.
Sorry to interrupt you. How many cameras would be, as per the tender, how many cameras have they planned?
Around 150 plus.
150 plus.
150 plus.
So this 150 plus cameras that they have, do they have GPS location for that, or have they planned it considering one is traffic, second is the sensitivity of that area? Like there are some are very communally sensitive areas. Some areas are sensitive as far as theft is concerned. Some for traffic, as I said. So what do you think is your assessment? I know that you can't go in detail because you are not an expert in those areas. But general idea, since you are from Belgaum also.
Mostly what I have seen is the consent of the police department with respect to all these ever-changing parameters is not being taken to that extent. And this tender has been floated like very roughly. So there is no GIS coordination. There is no proper profiling of the areas. In which areas this is going to be implemented is what I believe.
Let me just add to what he said. And as far as the analysis that we have done in the past, the two things that I've realized. One, the DPRs done by KOIDFC consultant, they have not come and studied the ground realities here. This is very done on a very top level, taking general conditions in mind. I hope I'm correct on this. They have not come here and they have not studied here and analyzed those things. That is one. Second, both these, I think, documents were written 2-3 years back. And you must know in Belgavi, our command and control center phase 1 got delayed for a long time. And because it got delayed for a long time, and then this consequent DPR was there. So even this was designed late. So my feeling is, my assumption is that whatever was planned, this was planned 2-3 years back, considering products and product specifications or technical specifications, considering 3 years back. And since I feel in the field of security cameras and surveillance, it's a very rapidly changing environment, because a lot of new things are coming every 2-3 months.
Correct.
Am I right? Am I correct on this? Or
I really appreciate that you have thrown light on this area. Actually, if you ask me also, they could have taken a very latest approach where the same point where after 5 years this system, whatever they have planned, in a nutshell, is going to die. So that should not happen. And especially when you are thinking of a city of this scale, we should be at least looking at when this project is concerned for at least for 10 to 15 years. And that will only happen when you design a system with respect to the technology today and for tomorrow, not for yesterday.
an open-ended architecture.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Now another thing that I also want to ask you is in our earlier videos on command center, I was emphasizing them that they should have a GIS system which will basically cover all the attributes and features of basically roads, drainages, electricity, and places of interest and sensitive areas. But till date, I know that they do not have such a GIS system in place. They are using your ready-made Google Maps, which Google Maps is not basically designed for command centers. So, how do you think what do you think of the use of GIS with surveillance? How important it is?
Okay, so if that point has to be considered, so this everything starts with planning in any project.
So GIS basically helps you in planning.
Yes, that's the core part of any planning. Okay, if I have to tell you, leave apart GIS, the smart city people don't even have the enough data to share us where the utility ducts or anything that even to that extent they don't have the data, which the projects have been completed already.
So when you're saying 150 odd locations, have they given you all where these locations would be, and how would you do the ducting and all?
So
Because at least that will basically help you to prepare your estimates or.
no, if I look into this, it's a two-part project. So one part is the procurement, second is the implementation. So when you bring these two together, it becomes a solution. This whole exercise till now is mostly only focusing towards procurement. They are not least bothered about the solution part, which actually is vital. So the location, neither the locations are being are shared or the locations or the data where this has to be placed. Nothing has been shared in that. It is more like a procurement. So
Okay.
which will ultimately lead to failure. So,
Okay.
Which I am very afraid of.
Like I would like to also add another thing. See, the first phase, the tender was awarded to BL, and we have written enough on BL. How BL, though being a Government of India enterprise, it has failed miserably in smart cities. They took an entry in smart cities through Belgaum, and through Belgaum they got multiple other smart city projects, and in most cases they have failed miserably. And we've given enough explanation and written enough letters to take action on them, but the only answer we would always get is that now at this point, if we do it, there is going to be a delay. This is a big company; they will go to court. If they're going to court, let them go to a court, and we should fight them legally because they have done a shabby job. One, number two is BL does not do things on its own. They basically outsource. They hire small vendors to implement this project. So I also have a feeling that to save on cost and to finish the project early, BL's vendors have used cheap Chinese products. And if you go to see one in the second phase, of this tender, I'm sure they are referring to a lot of cheap Chinese products. Today, our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, he speaks about Atmanirbhar. He speaks about supporting MSMEs and supporting vocal for local, basically. And he speaks about encouraging, and he wants basically a lot of MSMEs and Indian companies to participate in tenders and get work, so that post-COVID, whatever this economic hit seen by our economy, to recover from that, their government is encouraging and coming a lot of initiatives like Atmanirbhar and to promote local MSMEs. In that case, don't you think it is the way the tender is designed? It is for a large corporate, and most of the conditions really. Do you think most of the conditions help local people to participate, local entrepreneurs to participate?
No, I don't believe this. So looking at that, especially Shri Narendra Modi's vision, nothing has been taken care here. So in fact, most of the points in the tender are not facing in that direction. In fact, they are just mentioned that it is supporting Make in India or non-Chinese OEMs will not be supported. But if you look at the technical specification or criteria in detail, it is directly supporting the Chinese. And just to add here, what these Chinese OEMs are doing. So just to leave it up to this criteria, most of the Chinese OEMs now are importing the parts from China and they are assembling it in India. Okay, even the screws, that is the last part of any equipment. Even that is getting imported and being assembled here. So they are just for the namesake, it is they are mentioning as Make in India. But whereas there are very much competitive and much more performing players,
Indian companies.
Yeah, Indian companies which are developing, manufacturing, designing everything in India. but they are left out of this whole system. Although these companies, these Indian companies are performing better in Europe. You might know that these European standards are the best in the world. But see, that is the apathy that our companies are, making good business elsewhere, and this is the very place they should be, encouraged, which is
Given first priority.
yes, that is not happening. And openly, these Chinese OEMs are allowed to violate norms, and that too under the guidance, you might understand.
I also examined parts of the document and I realized that the way it is planned, the way the tender document is written, it in some way favors a lot of Chinese products and some of the Chinese brand like Hikvision and other two Chinese brands. So, as you know, most of these Chinese brands basically are owned by the Chinese government directly. Okay, and throughout the world, we all know how China has been bullying and how Huawei has been sacked out of 5G implementation. Like it could be in America, it could be in Britain, because of the security issues, and how China is using these companies to implement security and surveillance systems, and then they have a backdoor entry. And so today we are facing a huge security risk and a challenge by implementing and by using such products, such Chinese products. Today we are putting our security at risk, and I really don't understand one thing is the project monitoring consultant of Belgavi Smart City Limited is Lemmer India. What is their IT expert doing? And I want to know what is his role in this? Is the PMC being paid to just take monthly salaries and 1% or 2% percentage on a project? What is their role?
Yes, as you mentioned.
I feel if the PMC was involved in this, he would have definitely taken local issues here. Like as I said, like as you said, the focus has been mainly on procurement,
Exactly.
not on the implementation part. So I feel that even in the first phase, they had nothing to do, and this is the only IT project of Smart City, and even this they have hardly any role, but they are being paid for this. So this is like they are looting our taxpayers' money.
In fact, if you, as you mentioned that security point in earlier, if you look at into their first phase implementation, you will find majority of their equipments, or maybe all their equipments, is Chinese. So the cameras I have observed at many locations. In fact, even if you go,
I'm just sorry to interrupt you. I feel also government of India has said that we should ban such Chinese companies where the Chinese government has a stake, and mainly in the telecom sector and the surveillance sector.
yeah. Yes, these points. Even, I don't know. Even after all this, still we are continuing, with the same trend. Although we might assume that okay, in the first phase, these happenings were not much. So, but at least now we know that it is there. Companies like Huawei, UNV, Hikvision, Dawa openly find space in.
So basically, Huawei, Hikvision, Dawa,
and Uniwave.
Uniwave. Okay.
They openly find space in our projects.
Okay.
And there are many more such companies which again find space because of the smaller.
I would like Belgavi Smart City MD Mr. Shashidhar Kurer to understand this particular issue. In fact, before having this discussion, we've already informed him regarding this, and I want him to. I'm sure he will see our discussion, and I want him to focus on that. Security is a issue of concern where you cannot basically compromise, and it is known all over the world that China pushes such technology companies across the world, across the globe in different countries, and then they start monitoring us.
Yes.
So, and that too when we have a conflict with them, they are no more a friendly country with us. And I also feel one part is the security concern. Second is the most important part coming here is we want our local entrepreneurs to get opportunities here. If they don't get opportunities here, they won't get opportunities in China. So the main focus should be on creating employment, and that too basically post this endemic, post COVID, where the economy is badly hit. A lot of MSMEs are suffering; they are not getting opportunities, and the whole tenders should be planned in such a way that local entrepreneurs are encouraged. And so, what do you think is there are many small IT companies in Belgaum. I remember even during the first phase of the command center project, they had gone there and they had submitted their demand of getting them. They demanded even they should get a part of the action. What do you think is happening on that front? Are you people all still united or scattered?
So, if you look into that, so overall, the environment is such that due to a lot of these compliances such maintained by the BSEL, these compliances are not always necessary. I agree to one extent they are okay, but they make the compliances such that all the local entrepreneurs who are mostly budding all the time are left out of this. And even after repeated requests and repeated approaches, this has not helped.
But have you all, as local entrepreneurs, local IT companies association, have you all approached smart city officials and raised your demand that make the tenders in such a way that local IT entrepreneurs get a chance to participate?
So the whole ecosystem is such that even after repeated meetings and repeated requests, it is not coming through. What I have observed is usually this whole projects are designed in such a way that it is benefiting mostly the big players, and I think that helps them managing the whole project.
I want you to explain to our viewers how in this tender the issue of quality certifications for the bidder, for the manufacturer's representative has come up. Can you just shed some light on that?
So usually most of the certifications, the quality certifications like BIS and CE are compulsory for the OEMs, not for the resellers or the system integrators, because mostly we are looking at a solution here for our city, not just selling the product. So in that case, what happens is most of the budding entrepreneurs or the engineers locally will never have something like BIS or CE, which is mostly maintained by huge establishments like BEL and similar. So that these are the criteria made mandatory by the BSEL, throws out all the other players which can in fact add more value being local, because the obvious reasons BL has failed miserably as explained earlier. So these all point towards some unknown causes actually.
Okay. So now, what do you think? How would your IT association? How would you all like to take it ahead? Well, if you don't fight for it, you guys will lose an opportunity, and this will also show that that okay, local IT entrepreneurs are not united and they will not do anything, and many more opportunities like this will go out of hand. So, what would be your approach, Rick? And how are you going to convince them, or have you all convinced them? Any settings have happened? Any pre-bid meetings have happened where you've gone and explained to them, expressed or raised issues?
Okay, with respect to convincing, there is not much.
I mean, have you raised any issues to them regarding the flaws in the tender?
Yeah, we have raised issues and we are awaiting their replies on this.
Okay.
But in an ideal manner, what I would expect is before any project is floated, there is something called consultation, where you usually open up yourself and open enough that an expert or people come in with their own experiences and give you opinion how exactly this can be done. So after that, maybe then an expert panel can be chosen on how well this can be done at a competitive cost, which usually is good when you are doing it for a city like Belagavi, because we have a lot of expertise here. But what is the use when you are not?
See, I've personally raised this issue on a couple of occasions that they should take local experts in confidence. Belgavi has a huge talent pool. Okay, and it's very unfortunate that the smart city officials and the so-called PMC, they don't have sufficient staff or qualified staff also. They are not taking local experts in confidence. This has this there is a lot of hue and cry regarding this, and because they are not taking, they are doing whatever they want, and even when their errors are the issues are raised, they do not even bother to rectify those errors. And this is what I feel, they need to change this approach. And you've already spent 600 crores on silly white topping of roads, which I feel is an utter waste. Smart city solutions were basically meant to come up with smart solutions and technologies which would basically give ease of life and provide all citizen services of various government departments at the at the fingertips of citizens. But the whole focus has been only on physical infrastructure, for which you have various other funds, and there are very limited funds for IT enabled technologies for at city level. So what do you also think is, what is the scope? Why can't Belgavi IT entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs associated with various technologies? Why can't they form a forum and have a continuous dialogue and tell these people what needs to change?
Uh,
Don't you think that even we are responsible, the citizens are responsible, that they have failed to create a platform and have a dialogue with these guys?
uh, to one extent, I agree with you.
We only cry and rattle about it once the damage is done. Why can't we have preemptive measures where we as responsible citizens take some initiatives? And basically I'm sure that IT entrepreneurs are far more educated, they're courageous, and they can easily have a platform and address issues, and I'm sure their issues will be addressed.
Yes, to one extent, I agree with you. But see, it's a two-sided case here. In sense, people will speak only when someone is listening. If they are being ignored, it won't happen. So, if there is a platform where they really are being heard, people will definitely speak up. But what is actually happening in IT is, usually this is a notion where IT is IT only when it is imported from Bangalore or somewhere else. That is the notion. And people, no matter they have worked on any technology, cutting edge technology, any big projects, they have established themselves. Like you can establish yourself anywhere else in the world, but not in Belgavi. That's what is the typical thinking of
Definitely,
most
yeah.
of these projects. So that's the reason. Maybe somewhere that you kind of take a step back, and you just continue with what you are doing. Already there is a economic lag. So many things happen.
Definitely.
So it is very important in this kind of economic lag and situation that you take opinion of experts in specific domain, and you can create value out of it, definitely, if there is a platform created.
I know even the way professional forum in Belgavi has been neglected. They have given couple of representations. They have even written to the Prime Minister's office regarding this, but they have not got any good feedback. But anyways, summing up two things, what I feel is we need to keep aggressively forcing these people so that things change. And the reason why we do special reports on Belgavi smart cities, because I think in the history of Belgavi city, nowhere in the past we've received 1,000 crores. 1,000 crores is a lot of money, and if it is utilized systematically, uh, using technology, we can even the poor citizen in Belgavi can be helped, can avail citizen services, which is not getting it. So this is one of our initiatives where we are trying to push to see to that they are effective in implementing their projects. And I thank you, Basu Reddy, to come here and share your thoughts and views. And I wish you all the best in all your endeavors. Thank you.